Hey everybody, what's up, man? Just got done with our Fish the Moment on the water lesson here at Table Rock today. Heading back to the house, and man, I've got a little bit of a rant I want to share with you guys today. Not a bad one, just sort of a mini rant. And I also want to give you a Table Rock fishing report, the latest one, because I've been on the lake quite a bit lately. But man, to start this out here, my mom and dad started taking me down to Table Rock Lake back in the 1960s when I was a little kid, like as far back as I can remember, like when I was 6 and 7 years old. And we would go down, every summer. Dad and he'd take me fishing down there some, and we did this every year, all through the 60s and 70s. And one of the things that the earliest memories I have about Table Rock is just how pure and pristine the lake was. The water was clear. There was just nothing but woods everywhere. There wasn't back then, there wasn't much sign of life around the lake. There were very few docks on the lake. There was no developments really to speak of. It was just a beautiful, pristine lake full of the Ozark Mountains down there. And that is what attracted people to come to Table Rock Lake to fish, is it was just such a beautiful area. You've heard a lot about the Ozark Mountains, and Bass Pro Shop has made a big deal out about promoting the Ozarks and all the Ozark heritage, and they do all the stuff surrounding that. And one of the things I've noticed here, and the rant I'm going to go on a little bit, is that I fished Table Rock Lake as much as anybody I know over the past 50 years. I don't know anyone that's fished it more than myself, so I've spent a lot of time on it, and I've seen the progression of Table Rock Lake on all different levels. And one of the things that I've noticed, radically over the last year or so down at Table Rock Lake, is that the amount of overdevelopment and building that's going on in the lake. It is unbelievable how many hilltops are getting ripped off right now, bulldozed down, multi-million-dollar weekend homes being put up on it all over the lake. It's just like every single day I come down here, there's another section of trees that have gotten cleared off for another house. And the landscape and the energy of the lake is changing on a daily basis. And the thing that I'm talking about here, and I'm going to do a longer video at some point. I'm going to do like an hour-long video on this whole thing about the sustainability and development and what it's doing to our natural world. But here's the deal: what I'm talking about on Table Rock Lake, the very aspect of what has attracted people to Table Rock Lake, the pristine water, the Ozark Mountain woods, the hilltops, the woods, all that type of stuff, that's being destroyed before our very eyes. The very thing that attracts people to Table Rock Lake is the thing that's getting taken away from Table Rock Lake right now. And here's a good thing that I'll tell you guys, you can sort of understand. Think about your favorite lake that you have. Now, when you're fishing down a stretch of lake that you have, your favorite lake, that is like totally unspoiled and pristine, you've got woods up there, no houses, remember how that makes you feel, how it makes you feel good to have that connection to nature and how beautiful it is. And then imagine going to that same lake and going to the areas where there's houses all over the bank and there's docks everywhere, and how that makes you feel internally. There's something that we respond to on a real primal level as far as, needing those wild spaces. And the little rant I have today about Table Rock Lake is that it's just really, really disappointing to me that I'm seeing the lake that I grew up and loved to be on. It's just transforming in not a good way in front of my eyes. And the thing about it is, the very thing that gave me those special memories about Table Rock Lake, as far as the wilderness and the pristine part of it, my 3-year-old son Elijah is never going to experience that. He's not going to know the Table Rock that I knew back in the 60s, and he won't have that same feeling. So anyway, just a little bit of rant on that. Just really disappointing to me. And like I said, I'll do some more video later on that. But anyway, let's get back to the Table Rock fishing report here. It's been a couple weeks since I've done one. I've been on Table Rock a lot lately here. I've been fishing all over the lake, so I've got a pretty good handle of what's going on. Table Rock's going through a lot of changes right now. The lake 3 weeks ago, a bunch of it was frozen solid. Water temperature was super cold. And then last week we got a bunch of rain that came in here, 5 or 6 inches of rain. and it brought the lake level has came up 5 or 6 feet over the past couple of weeks here, and you have a big influx of dirty water in the lake, particularly in the rivers and the creek arms. And so that's making the lake's fishing pretty diverse, and the lake's fishing good right now. You can catch bass about any way you want to do it. You can still catch some bass deep. Water's still clear on the main lake, particularly on the lower end of the lake. You can catch them on swim baits, you can catch them on Ned rigs, you can catch them on jerk baits on the main lake if you have the right conditions, like lots of wind, partly cloudy skies, that type of thing. Alabama rig's still working. And then you can slowly, the fish, as the water temperature is getting up into the 50s right now, like it's in the low 50s right now, 50 degrees, you can start catching them shallow, just going down the rocky banks all over the lake, lower into the lake, mid-lake, up in the rivers, and that type of stuff. But the big deal here, from what I've seen the last couple days, is how many people are fishing the river arms of it. I know that Pete Winters, one of the local guides here on Table Rock Lake, did a YouTube video a couple of days ago about him catching some fish up the James River. Well, Pete, everybody must have saw that video, because guys, if you go to the James River arm right now, Table Rock Lake, you don't even need a boat, because you can just walk from boat to boat. That place is getting hammered right now. I mean, there are so many boats. You cannot pull into a pocket or a cove up there today without there being boats in it. It was just unbelievable how many boats. And, to me, the fishing is just as good anywhere else on the lake as it is up there. But anyway, the river arms, I don't care if you're in James River, Kings River, Long Creek, all the areas that's got dirty water. The back of all the major creeks have dirty water, or colored water in them. You can go up there and you can catch them about any way you want. You can catch them on jig, spinnerbait, cranking, whatever. So anyway, the fishing's pretty good right now. The fishing's biting all over the lake, but that's sort of the way it is. I mean, we're in the third week of March. Fish are starting to move shallow. They're biting everywhere across the country, including here at Table Rock Lake. But in my opinion, if I want to give these guys some advice on what to do down here at Table Rock Lake, is let the day be your judge. If you have one of those days where, it's cloudy and the wind's blowing, stay on the mid to the lower end of the lake and, fish those main lake points. There's still a lot of pre-spawn fish out there. If you've got a day that's partly cloudy, not much wind, get into that mid part of the lake, just a little bit off colored water, and just get and fish those steeper bank rock transitions with crankbaits and jerk baits. And you can catch them like that. And then also on about any day, like right now, there's enough water in the bushes where you can catch them around the shallow bushes up in the river arms on spinner baits and flipping in the shallow bushes. That's working pretty good too. So anyway, that's the report. Just a little bit of a rant there, a little bit of a fishing report. Just wanted to share that with you guys. So hope everybody's doing good, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.